And could you explain the concept of density and how it relates to the different dimensions?
Yes. Density is a frequency within a dimension. So again, the idea is that third density, fourth density, those are frequency levels of physical reality in what you call the fourth dimension, 3 of space, 1 of time. Physical reality as an experience has different density levels in it. Third density is a lower vibration of the fourth dimension. Fourth density is a higher vibration, which is where many people are now heading, ascending, leveling up their vibration to become a more refined version of the physical experience in the fourth dimensional reality. But the fifth dimension is actually crossing into non-physical reality. So fifth density is the first density level in non-physical reality in the fifth dimension. You can tap into the fifth dimension, and tapping into the energy of the fifth dimension can pull you up in the fourth dimension so that you can become a fourth density being in the fourth dimension. So another way of saying this is that as you might have started out as a third density being in physical reality, allowing yourself to tap into your higher mind, which is in a non-physical reality, fifth density, fifth dimension, can allow you to raise your frequency to become a fourth density, fourth dimensional being, a higher version of yourself in physical reality that's more in alignment with the fifth density, fifth dimensional higher mind that exists in non-physical reality. So densities are kind of like states within a country. Dimensions are like a different country.
And is the negative belief that's always trying to perpetuate itself and survive actually a negative parallel version of yourself that is vying to exist?
Well, it's not vying to exist. A negative belief that is attempting to perpetuate itself can be representative of a counterpart in another reality entirely. Yes, it can be, but it exists. Not vying to exist. The belief in your reality is your choice to buy into. It can be representative of a belief system of another version of you in another reality, but it exists. That reality exists. That version of you exists as well.
Okay. And can you please give advice on how to deal with obsessive negative thoughts? This person keeps trying to get out of the loop, but they can't, and it's putting them in a position of despair, especially because I know I'm creating it. It's a no-ending loop.
All right. But again, if you know you're creating it, then you're creating it for a reason. And again, it goes back to the motivational mechanism. You don't keep generating things that you don't believe serve you. In other words, you have a belief that the alternative, letting go of this, would actually be worse. So you have to find out why you believe that letting go of this would actually be worse. You have to find out what that belief is telling you, what that story is saying that you have bought into as a fact, that letting go of this and moving forward would be worse. It's not a fact, it's just a belief. But you have to find out why you believe that going forward would be worse than staying where you are, even as uncomfortable as where you are may be. So your despair is simply a lack of willingness to discover what the belief is that you're afraid will happen if you in fact let go of the things that you're continuing to choose that don't serve you, because you believe the alternative would be even worse. So you have to have real honesty in investigating yourself and digging down, and not be afraid to find out what you're afraid of that you believe will happen if you let go of the things you keep choosing. So the loop that you're talking about, you're choosing it and you're creating it because you believe the alternative, letting go of the loop, coming out of the loop, would actually cause something to happen that's even worse than experiencing the loop. No matter how desperate and despairing the loop may be, Clearly, you have a belief that the alternative is worse. You have to find out what that belief is and see that it's nonsensical. It's not a fact. It's just a story. And you don't have to buy into it. Again, you only choose to believe the things that you believe serve you. You only choose those things that you believe serve you. So there must be something about staying in the loop that you believe serves you. And very often that can be that it prevents you from experiencing something you believe would be worse if you stepped out of the loop. So do your investigation and find out what that is telling you, what that story is that doesn't work for you, and realize that it's simply a story and it's not a fact, that things would be worse if you stepped out of the loop.
Okay, and this person is asking, how would you teach children of Earth the spirit of Christmas? They feel torn between not wanting their daughter to miss out on the whole Santa Claus experience, but also dreading the day she finds out that he isn't real. I feel there's a better storyline to start her first Christmas off with. My excitement is more towards the magic and spirit of the winter season and solstice, but I'm uncertain about the most effective way to make this a Christmas narrative.
Well, in a sense, you have said it right up front. The spirit of Christmas. In other words, the idea of Santa Claus doesn't have to necessarily be physically real to be an actually existing archetype in your collective consciousness as human beings. So it is real as a spirit, as an archetype of a collection of humanity. So you can explain the difference between something manifesting as a physical being and something manifesting simply as an archetypal spirit, a level of consciousness that is real unto itself and autonomously existing, but as a higher level being, a higher level expression of the collective of humanity that is in compassion and love and giving and service. So it's a real being on that level in its own right. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to manifest physically. So you can elevate the understanding of Santa Claus by understanding that it is connected to the season in an archetypal way, as an actual being of spirit, a collective being, an archetypal being. That doesn't mean it has to be perceived always as a physical being. So as a child, it might be easier to explain as a physical being, but then as the child matures, you can say, well, it's not so much that it's physical in the way we are as humans, but it's an archetypal spirit that is representative of a collective of all of our love and all of our giving and all of our willingness to be of service and share and give each other gifts. So there's a way to elevate the idea by actually referring to it as the spirit of Christmas.
That's so wonderful, that I think one time you did a session called Is There a Santa Claus? And
Yes.
it's very exciting that there's an archetypal Santa Claus.
Yes.
And you can work with that just like any kind of archetype if you
Yes.
are so attracted to it. So there's so many magical things that you can give to children around the idea of Santa Claus and what it means and all the expansive ways that we can express ourselves.
Yes. And sometimes, again, depending upon the belief system of the person and depending upon their rate of vibration, they may actually be able to perceive the archetypal spirit that represents the concept of Santa Claus as if it does manifest physically. Because archetypes can present themselves that way to people who are sensitive to that frequency. That doesn't mean, again, it's exactly physical in the way that you are. It's almost more like the way elementals present themselves, by manipulating energy of the collective consciousness like clay and providing a manifestation that is temporary, but that can be perceived by human senses who are sensitive enough to that frequency. So it has to be explained in a multitude of ways, but it is a real archetypal consciousness.
And it's interesting, too, that it can be used as a permission slip to allow yourself to receive gifts.
Yes.
That, because that's the idea that Santa Claus gives you the gifts that you want. It's this great
Not just
idea.
receive, give gifts as well.
Right.
Mutual exchange.
This person has a question about passion and money.
Yeah.
As an actor, speaker, mentor, and entrepreneur, I've followed my passion for many years. Now I seek financial support to sustain and continue to follow my passion and uplifting others. Any advice on navigating this journey towards financial independence?
No, because the idea is not to focus on the idea of money alone as the only representative of abundance that can help you continue to act on your passion. As we have said many, many times, the idea is that there are many forms of abundance. And if you're only focused on one as the only way that you can continue to act on your passion, then you're closing the doors through which other forms of abundance could come that might actually be representative of the path of least resistance and might happen actually more easily than the idea of receiving money. Money is fine as a representation of abundance on your planet, but it's only one representation, one symbol of exchange. Having something to trade with is a form of abundance. Being given a gift is a form of abundance. Synchronicity is a form of abundance. Imagination is a form of abundance. Communication is a form of abundance, as we would think you would know as an actor. So the idea is that when you use your imagination and your creativity and your communication, you can think of other ways in which things can be accomplished that might not require as much money. You have to be willing to be of a higher vibration so that you can be inspired to ask the questions and communicate the things that might not seem like they would work, but on a higher level would work. That would allow you to continue to act on your passion. We've told the story of the photographer that flew around the world and got paid for it because she was willing to ask the airline if they could fly her around the world to take photographs of sacred sites for free, but knew there had to be some form of exchange, which was the idea that they would get to use her photographs of all the sacred sites in their brochures to attract tourists to their airlines. So they did not only fly her around the world for free, they paid her, put her up in the best hotels, fed her the best food. The idea is that she was willing to try the idea of communicating to them and ask them to fly her around the world for free in exchange for using her photographs, which she never would have thought of had she been stuck on the idea that she needed money, which she never would have had to be able to do that. So you really have to think outside the box and allow all the forms of abundance to work together. Maybe a little bit of money will come in. Maybe someone will give you a gift. Maybe you will communicate something to someone that will change things up and give you a different path to take. Maybe synchronicity will bring you something you weren't expecting. Surprise, surprise. And thus working together, all the forms of abundance would give you the 100% abundance you need to move forward and continue to be able to act on your passion. Remember, abundance by definition, from our point of view, is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. We're not saying in exactly what way that has to happen, and you need to relax your definition and defocus off only money being the only way, because then the other ways cannot get to you.
Okay, and this viewer writes about their difficult childhood. How can I recognize my worthiness of love despite a challenging childhood? If I'm inherently worth loving, how can I reconcile past experiences that seem devoid of true love and support? Additionally, do these experiences serve a purpose in contributing to the healing of painful childhoods for others on Earth? Are there parallel realities where different versions of me had happier, healthier upbringings, and what might be their soul goals?
Yes, and we're not going to get into the soul goals of parallel realities. We're going to talk to you about the idea that clearly what you chose to experience is something that would allow you to understand that you need to give yourself the love that clearly was not given to you as a child. So the theme that you chose to explore was the idea of going into an experience where you would be forced to be the one to give yourself the love that you need, because that's exactly what many people on your planet need to learn to do. Love themselves unconditionally, regardless of their experiences. So you can't look at it in a negative way. You chose to experience the idea of not being able to receive that as a child in order to understand that that's what you would want to go toward, that that's where you would be driven to go in that direction of seeking to give yourself the love that you believe you were not being given as a child. Paradoxically, by choosing the situation where you were not physically given the love that you sought, the idea is that that was a very loving thing that parts of your soul family were willing to do for you in order to give you the opportunity to experience how to overcome that, transform that, and give yourself all the love that you believed you were missing in your childhood. So it's actually an act of love that you didn't receive the physical love. It's not an excuse, not saying that it excuses any perpetrators of things like abuse, emotionally, physically, or otherwise. But the idea is that an arrangement was made so that you would be driven to seek the love within yourself, that you driven to seek the connection to source that would allow you to know you are worthy of love. But that's just the way you decided to do it, to prove how strong you are. Remember, Earth is a graduating master class. Earth is a tough school, but you're up to the task. And so you had the strength to come in as a spirit and say, I'm going to have the experience of being deprived of love so that I will be driven to seek it out and give it to myself, to learn to do that, to love myself unconditionally, to learn that I am worthy, to state that I am worthy, to insist that I am worthy. That is the lesson and the task and the theme here for you.
Thank you. When we raise our frequency to higher levels of physical reality, are the people we interact with the same souls? In other words, when we raise ourselves to become more onto more positive timelines, are our loved ones the same souls across timelines?
They may be the same oversouls, but they're not necessarily the same souls. So different souls can be representative of different parallel realities, but a larger version of an oversoul, say an oversoul of an oversoul, may be the same oversoul of oversouls that has extensions in multiple parallel realities, but each of those extensions is an individual soul that's different for the individual physical being in that parallel reality. So you're interacting with different souls, just like you're interacting with different versions of them physically, different higher minds, but maybe the same oversoul of oversouls. So again, it depends on what level you're looking at as to when you can say, is it the same? Are these the same beings? Depends on what level of being you're talking about.
Okay. So I'm going to move on now to some ET questions.
Yes.
This individual is asking about how disclosure will unfold. Given the premise that governments are founded on collective representation and considering the diverse perspectives on non-human intelligence, it seems unlikely that they would provide a wholly accurate disclosure or even a watered-down version. Based upon my experiences, it seems likely that most people will have their own unique experiences, whether individually or in groups, such as witnessing crafts or orbs. This will continue until a critical mass is reached where most people have seen something extraordinary. At this pivotal moment, it would become common for everyone to see these phenomena, leading to a widespread disclosure and open contact. I know you don't do predictions, but based upon how things are going in this reality, is this an accurate assessment of how disclosure will unfold?
In general, yes. There may be a little bit more information released by some of your governmental bodies at a pace they feel comfortable with. But again, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the pace that some people on your planet are comfortable with and the pace at which we are comfortable with. One of the things that many people on your planet don't think about is the idea that disclosure and open contact can come from our side of the agenda as well, in terms of how it happens. You, as humans, determine it to some degree, but you're not the sole determiners of the idea with regard to your institutions. The idea of your general population and what they're willing to be open to is the greater determinant about how open contact will happen. So you have to also remember that for some indigenous cultures, open contact has been happening for thousands of years already. So the rest of the world needs to catch up. But yes, in general, your assessment is accurate. It will be a collective kind of realization that so many people are now aware of our existence that it will someday, relatively soon, simply be a fact that we exist. And it'll already be something that will be a given. And open contact will smoothly expand throughout your society because everyone will simply be acknowledging something that they already know. But there will be a trigger. There will be several triggers for this. There will be things that will happen that will allow people to get used to the idea in greater and greater numbers. As we said, there is still a high probability at the end of your 2026, the beginning of 2027, for a UFO event, an ET event. We're not going to describe it specifically, but an event that may open the eyes of many individuals as to our existence, and also through your own devices. Finally discovering that life exists on other planets can open your mind to the possibilities of open contact as well. All of this will generally, as we read your energy now, occur within the next 30 to 40 years at the outside, with certain markers accelerating within that time frame. So by 2033, 2040, in the next 20, 30, 40 years, your world will be very different in terms of what it knows about our existence.
That's exciting.
Yes.
In the movie Contact, there was a scene where Jodie Foster goes through this a machine, and then she ends up in a wormhole, and then she has this contact experience.
Yes.
Both from symbolic and also just the more real aspects of what contact would be like. Can you take that scenario that they showed in that movie and help us understand how a lot of that might actually be fairly accurate?
Well, in a sense, it's a depiction of what's already happening, isn't it? Because you are being fed information, but in a way that you can handle, in a way that's familiar to you. You are being fed information through channels, such as what's happening right now, because the channel is a human that you're familiar with. And therefore, you're receiving information that leaves it up to you to determine how real it is for you, whether we really exist or not, or whether the information is simply coming from another version of the channel. So in many ways, what was depicted in that movie is what's actually happening. You are being presented with an idea, but in terms that you are comfortable and familiar with, to determine for yourself how much of it is going to be absorbed and applied in your reality and how much might be left out. So in a sense, what the movie symbolized is happening.
And sort of the idea of them falling through that machine that changed their frequency to allow them to have contact, right?
Yes.
That would be similar idea.
Yes, presented in a technological way, which again can exist and does exist in many civilizations. But again, the symbology is the idea that everything is happening in the now, that time is relative, that you're having an experience of receiving communication and information from extraterrestrial sources, not just us, but others as well, and that it's being given to you in a format that leaves it up to you to decide how much of it is real or not for you. So, in a way, the movie is simply a representation of what's already happening.
And this idea of ETs coming down to our vibration, how does this plane of reality, Earth, that we experience right now, affect a higher vibrational being like an ET? Do ETs need to be prepared as well to realign to a denser dimension? As humans, we've forgotten our divinity and we're remembering who we are now. What challenges do ETs face by being in this dimensional plane? I imagine them being like the enlightened masters that walk the earth as compassionate and loving teachers.
In a sense, yes, but you're assuming that we actually come all the way down to your dimensional plane, which we don't. You may not recognize it sometimes, but in a lot of encounters, you're actually shifted up to a slightly different level of reality that's more vibrationally compatible with you and us simultaneously. We can lower our vibration to a certain point, but we don't usually lower our vibration to the level that you normally exist in on a day-to-day basis. It's another level of reality that may seem like your physical reality, but isn't.
So does that mean that there's not going to be spaceships landing in our physical dimension, or?
The spaceships that land will be landing in the level of reality that you will raise your vibration to meet. It will not be happening in the vibrational density that you're in right now. It will be happening in another layer of reality that is of a higher frequency. And that's not the same reality that you're in right now.
Kind of reminds me of the idea that, you know, the way we see airplanes now, no big deal, and that someday that's how it will be with spaceships.
Yes, but you have to be in a different level of reality to see them that
Right.
way, experience them in the same way you experience your airplanes. It's just that the transition may be so smooth that you don't realize you've actually gone up to another level of reality. As we have often reminded you, a person 300 years ago would look at you as if you're glowing with light because you're much higher in frequency than they used to be 300 years ago. But to you, it's normal, so you don't see it. But the idea of contact is going to take place in another layer of reality. There are many layers of your reality. Earth is like an onion with many dimensions wrapped around it. And therefore, there are more refined levels of physical reality and even into the lower astral than you think. So the idea vibrationally is that while it may seem as if open contact is taking place in your typical physical reality, it's not.
Now, we're not really going to present a meditation for you in this transmission, but we are going to suggest this to all of you. As we said, upcoming will be, in the next transmission, Countdown to Contact Year 1. We would suggest that you take very seriously and encourage you to take to heart what we have said about our true nature, to allow yourself to ponder and prepare and follow the formula in earnest to really raise your vibration, to start operating not only on the physical but on the more spiritual level as well, to be a combination of the two, so you can become much more vibrationally compatible with the beings you will ultimately encounter in open contact. So, decide for yourselves which permission slips, which meditations, whatever techniques, tools, and disciplines will work for you to allow you to get in touch with your true nature of being a spirit, having a physical experience, blending the two, not separating as much, not defining them as being so different from one another, becoming more lucid in physical reality so that you can become more awake overall in the physical dream and see that spirit and physical reality, in a sense, are experiences you are having in the same place, in spirit, right now, and allow yourself to prepare yourself in whatever way works for you for crossing the bridge now from the ending of the eye of the needle, where you have let go of certain things that no longer serve you. And this doesn't mean you won't continue to let go, but for the majority of the energy that you will now be experiencing, it is no longer focused so much on the eye of the needle, But you will continue to let go with the momentum you have created during that period, whatever is no longer relevant for you, whatever is no longer preferred by you as a belief system. But now you will be crossing the bridge. So instead of going through the eye of the needle, you are now crossing the bridge to countdown to contact year 1, where we will begin to go through different kinds of experiences and processes, meditations and suggestions that will bring home to you more ability to be your true self and to prepare specifically for the encounters you will experience ultimately in the years to come as open contact commences. We thank you for allowing us to share this with you this day of your time. Aveo. We thank you and good day.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
So I have quite a few questions.
Well, we'll see how many you get through.
Yeah,
Or maybe what may appear to be sometimes many questions is the same question in different clothing.
That is profound. Thank you. Well, I live a pretty miraculous, magical life for the most part. I follow my bliss.
Oh, for the most part.
And-
All right. I follow my bliss.
To the best of my ability.
All right. As long as you know it's to the best of your ability, then the rest doesn't need to matter. But go ahead anyway.
Well, so I have this pressing question.
Oh, pressing,
that
yes.
It's been kind of circulating in my life since the summer solstice.
Yes.
Which I know this year, 2015, has been a lot of planetary alignments and amazing breakthroughs in a lot of humans' lives. And for me, the summer solstice, I went to a Mayan ceremony where we had a sacred fire manifesting ceremony.
Yes.
And this guy came up to me and said, "Do I know you?" And there was this soul recognition.
Yes. On your part as well?
On my part as well.
All right.
But then the very next day, we went to this the Mayan medicine man who was giving readings and drawing out facial charts of what he does. And basically, the synchronicity came in where the same guy who came up to me came in right after me.
Yes.
And the medicine man was blown away because we had basically almost the same, well, a very aligned chart.
Yes.
And he wanted to see me after the reading because he wanted to tell me a couple of things. And when I talked to him, his eyes were huge saucers, like just
flying saucers.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Very, very galactic.
Yes.
And he had never seen it before, where someone or two people had come in back to back the way it was aligned.
All right.
way.
Well, congratulations for making his day.
Right. So anyway, but ever since then, we kind of started hanging out and seeing each other
Notice the
through Soul Family.
qualification. Kinda. Why the hesitation suddenly?
Because there's like this
Then why not just say, well, we're exploring?
So we're exploring that.
All right.
And I guess it's been very unique and interesting as far as, I know Soul Family connection and very close, tight-knit connection.
All right.
But
well, that sounds all exciting, and so?
So this seems to be very different.
What seems to be different?
So you talked about soulmates earlier, and this almost feels like something different even than that. There's a definition that I'm having a hard time defining.
It's called a counterpart.
Oh, okay.
Do you understand this term?
No.
Two aspects of the same oversoul who happen to overlap in the time frame of your physical life. You're meeting another aspect of your own oversoul.
That's what it feels like.
Well, that's why I said that.
So it's almost like when we're together, the energies of what makes up our physical bodies sort of mixes. And sometimes I have no memory of even being with him because it's like...
You're operating on a different level.
On a higher level or something.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Can you tell me more about that?
More about it?
The counterpart thing.
Well, it's as simple as what we described. In other words, what you typically call past lives, future lives, you understand it all exists at the same time, yes? But sometimes when you're coming from a linear time frame, when you're saying, well, this life was in the past, this life's in the future, you can understand that some lives actually overlap in the same lifetime.
Oh, wow.
Because
so, like,
it's
we're
just
the same
different
life?
extent. No.
Okay.
Same lifetime span. The idea is that everything exists all at once, and even what you call a past life is just another extension of the oversoul, but it's experiencing itself simultaneously with you, but in what you call a different time frame.
Right.
But to the oversoul, that doesn't mean anything, because it's experiencing all those lives at the same time. It's just that sometimes you have different counterparts that overlap in the lifespan. And sometimes, not always, when you encounter them for different purposes, as you've arranged to do so and set things up for you, then you will have that recognition that they are, in a sense, even closer than a soul family per se, because they're actually another projection of the same oversoul that you are a projection of.
Okay. So I guess my other question on that then is, as a magical fairy romanticist, is this just me projecting my own meaning into thinking, like, because it's so unusual and unique, that I'm just exploring what the purpose is of meeting this person right now?
Well, the purpose, as we have already said, to every relationship is
to mirror a part of myself.
that you provide the reflections to the other that allows them to become more of themselves as they do the same for you. Period. No other assumptions or expectations need to come into it, because when you do that for each other, in service to each other, in love for each other, that way, no matter what happens, you will know that that is the purpose of the relationship. And thus you will allow it to be whatever it actually is, and whatever it actually is will manifest, not what you assume it needs to be.
Right. I've already gathered that.
All right. So just by letting it be what it is and using it for what it is, then it will go whatever path and route it needs to take and take whatever shape it needs to take. And it will happen automatically because you're allowing it to be what it is. And it will keep changing.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. So on that note,
Yes.
I have a sort of another branch question to that. I've been meeting other people that seem to be a part of this oversoul, that are just very strong connections that are activating me.
Well, not all of them are, but this may also be one of the ways in which you happen to do things. Some people do that more often than others. Some people interact with a lot of their counterparts. Some people interact with fewer counterparts. Some people interact with none of them.
It just seems to be this year for some reason. Like, this is the
Well,
year.
this is your timing.
Yeah, okay.
This is how you're gathering yourself together. This is how you're getting reflections of different aspects of your consciousness so that you can start functioning more holistically as a more integrated being. Yes?
Beautiful, wow.
Does this help?
It helps a lot, thank you.
If you really want an analogy that we've given before, this is actually one of the perfect representations of what we call the shards of the shattered mirror. You're gathering the shards of the mirror together in order to have a whole, complete reflection. But you're getting a different perspective from every shard. Yes?
And there's quite a few, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few.
Thank you.
Does this help you?
It does so much.
All right, well, thank you for allowing us to reflect that to you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
How are you?
Perfect, and you?
Good, thank you.
All right.
So first I just want to share that and say thank you for teaching me to tap into my highest excitement.
No, all right. But you taught yourself. We just simply gave information. You have to be the one to apply it in order to get the effect. So thank you for allowing yourself to feel the effect.
You're welcome. Since I've been tapping into that, I shifted into a new career.
Oh, all right.
Been amazing, and just learning how to, go with the flow.
Yes.
With whatever,
More exciting, yes.
Wherever my excitement takes me.
Yes, more exciting, yes.
Yes.
All right.
Amazing.
Yes.
And then I wasn't operating that way in relationship and was doing a lot of work on it, and then I realised that I was just too afraid to tap into that
All right.
and trust that
Good investigating of yourself.
what was going to turn out. So I was fed up with not following my highest excitement and gave
Thank
into
you.
it like 2 weeks ago.
Yes, thank you.
And that same night, I got a call from someone that I knew from 3 years ago.
How synchronous. Isn't that
Yep.
amazing how that happens?
That's how it works.
Yes,
And
that's
then,
how it works. If only most of you would believe that.
And takes a minute to get to that place. And
Maybe, maybe not.
sometimes. And then,
Messages coming through.
what is it?
Oh, you'll find out.
Can you tell me what it is?
Oh, you'll find out.
I'll trust. that I'll
Thank
find
you.
out. You're welcome.
Why change that course now?
I know. It's awesome.
Yes, it is.
So then when I got the call from the guy, we ended up connecting and I started listening to my highest excitement and following that. And we...
More messages coming in from different sources.
Coming in.
You seem to have very active guides.
I must do.
So,
And so then we went out on the Tuesday night and we've been connecting ever since, and he's here in the audience tonight.
all right.
And we're just following our highest excitement, and
Well,
it
thank
just
you.
feels really amazing.
To the
be
best
in
of your
moment.
ability with no insistence on a particular outcome?
Yes.
Please do the whole formula.
Yes.
All
I
right.
kind of consider following your highest excitement as the whole formula. I just kind of wrap it into the one word so it's shorter.
That's all right. It's just that we realize in having conversations with many of you that a lot of you use the first phrase but forget the rest of it.
Yeah.
So we're just making sure that you understand it's a holistic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can refer to it however you wish.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's been amazing.
All right.
Just wanted to share that.
Why, thank you.
And then I have another question.
Yes.
My mum passed away 4 years ago,
Oh, all right.
or transitioned, and I'm curious to if you have any awareness of what she's transitioned into, or whether she's still
Into spirit.
into spirit. Does she come into any other forms, or
Any other forms?
like another body, or has she stayed?
Well, again, please remember that while that can be an experience, it's not actually mechanically what really happens. There's no such thing as reincarnation mechanically, because everything exists at once. If all lives exist at once, how can you become another person? Do you understand?
Yeah, can you elaborate
But you
on
can
it?
make a connection to another person in such a way as to draw upon their experiences, and to you that would feel like a memory because of your linear space-time framework. But that doesn't mean you were actually that person. It might be another extension of the oversoul, but it still exists simultaneously with you. So you don't become another person. You are who you are. But you can have that experience as if you have. Because you are everything. Because you're all that is. Nevertheless, she's doing fine. One moment. Was she in any way, shape, or form artistic?
Artistic?
Yes, artistic. Writing, painting, drawing,
She did
music, anything
drawings.
like that. Drawings? All right. So one of the things that she's doing now is helping someone creatively with the idea of illustrations for a book.
Wow.
Acting kind of as a guide in that direction.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yes, it's fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
And of course, very aware of the fact that you have entered another chapter in your life. In the story that you tell yourself, of yourself.
Yeah.
So, illustrate it with beautiful paintings. Yes?
Thank you. Yes.
All right. Will that do?
One more question.
Yes.
So I did ayahuasca a year ago,
Oh, all right.
and when I was in that state,
Yes.
I got a message that I didn't need to do it again, and that it was kind of like, oh, okay, this is it. I guess I'm the universe, and it's just
At that
how
moment,
it
that is
in
true
that
for
moment.
you. Because remember, the whole point of doing that is to become familiar enough with the state to simply generate it anytime you need to on your own. That's what the teachers teach you, how to not need the teachers anymore. That's why we're giving you all this information, to put ourselves out of a job. Because once you understand this information, then we can be friends and we can play, but you don't need us to tell you these things anymore because you'll already understand them. And you'll be living the way we do. Yes?
Yes.
And isn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's awesome.
So
So
you
I haven't-
have, obviously, the ability to receive the messages that you need to receive clearly.
Yeah.
So you don't need to ask, what was that message? What was that message?
Mm-hmm.
But synchronistically, you showed yourself that you receive messages all the time.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Well, yes, but crazy good.
Yeah, crazy, amazing.
Yes, crazy amazing.
So I have an opportunity to experience that again. When I came out of the experience, I had a lot of fear around part of the experience. Felt like I got really confronted with the feeling of just being the universe and not having
All right.
like another person to interact with. So I wanted to get some insight on
Change
that.
your definitions.
Mm-hmm.
Change your definitions, you will change your experience.
Okay,
Plain and simple.
perfect.
May we address you, therefore, from this point forward as Crazy Maisie?
Sure.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Crazy Maisie.
Love it. Thank you.
Good day.
Good day.
Or should I say, good eye?
Good day, mate.
All right.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
We have a few questions from our Ustream listeners.
Yes.
So one of them is, if you cannot perceive what you're not the vibration of,
Yes.
then how can enlightened masters exist on the same version of Earth that people of much lower vibrations do?
They don't. You're seeing a version of them that is applicable to the level of reality that you're on. Because you have an agreement in your reality that you can see at least a part of them as the example that you need to perceive to see the light within yourself. But you're not seeing all of them. And they are choosing to allow a part of themselves to be viewed to contain a part of themselves that is relevant for that vibration. Otherwise, it would be pointless. There would be no interaction at all. So what they've accepted is a definition of themselves and a definition of reality and a vibration of reality that contains the ability for you to perceive at least a portion of each other, the portion that is relevant for what the exchange needs to be. But you're not perceiving all of them.
So we exist within a bandwidth, and
Yes.
in a sense, you could say like they're lowering their frequency or inversion of their
They
frequency.
contain
Oh, yeah,
a
they
lower
contain.
frequency that creates a relevant representation of them for those on that frequency. But it's only a portion of how they experience themselves.
And that's sort of the representation of the 51% positive idea that even though we might be in a dense reality at this point, we still can perceive higher vibrational beings and information.
If you let go and align with the idea of the 51% flow, then yes.
So, well, that makes a lot of sense, but it also gives a lot of positive, I guess, hope that people can expand and
Yes.
move in a direction where they can become those same masters.
Where they can know that they already are. That's how
Right,
you become
on another
one.
level.
Yes.
Yes. It's very good. Okay, and what's the true nature and purpose of unrequited love?
Unrequited love,
Yes.
there's no such thing. If it is unrequited, it isn't love. It's expectation. It's not allowing the relationship to be what it is. It's not accepting the love in the form in which it actually comes in that relationship as being real enough, as being good enough. That's the only thing that creates the idea of unrequited, is you're not really paying attention to what it is, you're only paying attention to what you expect it to be.
This is the part about wanting your life to be a certain way and not accepting the way in which you actually manifest something.
Yes.
And not looking for the way to use whatever is presented to you in a positive way.
Correct.
Rather than using it for, in a sense, it's self-diminishment, right?
Correct.
That's what gives the person who's experiencing the unrequited love feeling that sad feeling.
Yes, because the real unrequited love is that they're not loving themselves as much as they could. That's what's unrequited. And they're simply getting a reflection of that.
Right. So the other person's also reflecting to them that they don't accept themselves and they don't.
Yes. The unrequited factor is within the person experiencing unrequited love, not in the other.
Why do humans get so extreme about?
Because your world is a world of extremes. And how are you going to have mastery if you're not willing to experience the extremes? You can only get mediocrity, not mastery. To experience mastery, you have to experience the extremes. Yes?
Yeah, that's definitely a positive way to look at it.
It is. One that we would highly recommend. Because it has so many more benefits to it.
It does. It does. And this last one, the person is asking, how can I be a part of the Bashar family in person when I live on the other side of the world?
The other side of the world? But your world is a tiny little ball floating in space. The other side is a relatively close distance. Again, it's about trusting the synchronicity. And the very fact that you have been able to insert a question here, no matter where you are, means you are suddenly part of the family, doesn't it? You have many paths and many ways to know that you are part of the family. And you have just demonstrated that to yourself.
And whenever we experience the frequency that we associate with you, it connects us all.
Yes.
Also.
Yes. Because that is what our frequency is all about. Integration, connection, community, love, support, joy. Yes.
Well, we certainly appreciate the love that you give to us, Bashar.
As we appreciate the journey that each and every one of you are also on. Is it time for your holotope?
It is.
Well, then, we shall allow you a brief intermission so that you may arrange your holotopic experience, and we will return for a guided meditation to help lock in these ideas for you with that particular permission slip today, if that's what you would prefer. Take a brief break. We will resume the transmission shortly. How's it going? Good? But it'll take a day to you, this day of your time. How are you all? All right. All right. Thank you. First and foremost, once again, we will extend our deepest appreciation to every single one of you individually and all of you together collectively for the co-creation of this interaction and the allowance of this transmission at this time. We will begin this transmission with the reminder that we have titled it, The Artifacts. Do you need to make adjustments to your technology? How profound. I see that you have been paying attention. All right, we shall move forward then by allowing you to understand that we are delivering this information in two parts. This transmission, tonight of your time, will be part one. Part two will be delivered in your year of 2016. This will be an opening, an introduction to this idea. And in 2016, when we deliver part two, it will contain far more detail, a chart, images to explain in more depth what it is we are describing tonight of your time. But the idea is that there have been placed throughout your solar system artifacts that when you begin to move farther and farther out in your solar system into space as a society, you will come across these artifacts that have been left for you, which will contain information that will allow you more understanding of who and what you are. It will aid and assist in your evolution as you move out into space, give you more ability for greater interaction with other extraterrestrial civilizations, and allow you to peer into some deeper mysteries that will be harbingers, precursors of things you will encounter out among the stars, to give you an opportunity to prepare for those interactions in a deeper way. Now, the idea is that they are all pyramid shapes, all these artifacts. Starting with, on your planet of Earth, specifically, what you call the Great Pyramid at Giza. That is one of them. There are 5 of these artifacts. There used to be 6. But one of them used to be on the planet that has been referred to in your ancient texts as Marduk or Maldek, which has since been destroyed by cosmic collision and is now represented its remnants as the asteroid belt in your system. But there used to be one of these artifacts upon that planet. The reason that this is still known is that this information comes from very, very, very ancient times and has been handed down and copied and copied and copied over millennia by many different civilizations. There are very few references to this left in any of your literature, any of your ancient tablets, but there are a few. One in particular, which we will demonstrate to you in part 2, is on an old Akkadian tablet, a cylinder seal that is 4,500 of your years old. Thereupon is depicted the exact symbol that tells you about these artifacts and where exactly they are placed in your system. Beginning with the one on Earth, the Great Pyramid of Giza, moving outward from the sun, because it is all about expanding outward. The next one is a pyramid that exists on your moon. Now, some people on your planet are already aware of this, of its existence, but this information has not been fully made public. It will one day. Nevertheless, that is where the second artifact is, of a pyramidal shape that mirrors and matches that of Giza and contains information that will help you on your journey outward through your system toward the stars. The next pyramidal artifact exists on the planet you call Mars. This will contain not only information to help you in your evolution and again aid and assist you in your outward expansion to the stars, but will also contain information that speaks of some of your lost history, so that you can really begin to gather back together an understanding of the path that you have taken, both physiologically and spiritually, that has brought you to this point of transformation on your planet of Earth at this time. Now, as we said, the next artifact would have been on the planet Maldek, but has since been destroyed and is now simply represented by the remnants that you call the asteroid belt. But going farther out, the next artifact after the Earth, after your moon, after Mars, is on Saturn's moon of Titan. So there you will find another pyramid that will contain great information at that point that you're capable of reaching that moon of Saturn. You will find it will contain many things that you need to understand how you can interact with different kinds of civilizations and how you can also propel yourselves in a new direction, energetically, spiritually, physiologically, as Earth becomes and is becoming in its process what we have termed the 6th hybrid race, and how you will be given more information about the different kinds of groups, the different kinds of councils, the different kinds of associations and alliances that Earth potentially can belong to, again, as you claim more and more and more of your heritage and move out farther and farther in your system toward the stars. The final pyramid is on your dwarf planet of Pluto, at the edge of your system. And thus, by the time you reach that one and understand its mysteries, you will have truly become a full-fledged member of the Interstellar Alliance and will have before you many different kinds of choices that may seem unimaginable to you right now and for which there may not even be adequate description in your language. For you will have changed so greatly by then as a society and as a species as to really make available to you upon the discovery of that final artifact, that final pyramid, many more options than are available to you now that will propel you to the stars in another way and will allow you to understand truly your place in creation and will expand your abilities into the realm that at this point would seem like magic to you. So these artifacts have been placed there for you as markers, so you know that you always have assistance, that you will never ultimately forget who you are, no matter what may happen physiologically in your system. There will always be something there that will remind you, put you back in touch, center you with your roots, with your heritage, and also with where you are going, where you are heading, again, both physiologically and spiritually, as you connect and expand to more and more and more of your greater being. Does this make sense to you? Yes. All right. So as we said in part 2, we will go into deeper explanations and have graphs and charts to explain this in more detail. And the reason for this is that there must be a realignment of certain information that has been presented in your society so that you can understand how to look at that information very differently. This is connected to the idea of contact in a variety of ways. And as we present the more detailed explanation in part 2 in your year of 2016, you will begin to understand more clearly why this information is being presented to your society at this time. For there are many things that are about to happen that will bring about many different kinds of changes in your reality. And having this knowledge and this understanding, even to this small degree, will better prepare you for what is to come. So, we present this to you now to wrap your minds around, to just take it in however it is you feel is appropriate for you to take it in, and to know that it will do what it needs to do to lay the foundations within you for clearer understanding of what is to come. So we thank you for allowing us to deliver part 1 of this information, of the artifacts to you in this way at this time. So please stay tuned in your year of 2016 for part 2. In return for the gift that you are giving us in allowing us to serve you in this way, then we will ask, how may we serve you further at this time with your interactive dialogue of questions and answers? Please begin however you prefer.
Okay. Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
We are also blessed that you're here today. Thank you.
So are we.
My question has to do with law of attraction.
Law of attraction.
Yes, I actually have a 2-part question.
Yes.
And the first question is, you use the analogy of chess.
Yes.
Say you think that you have a piece that you're playing with on your chess game, and that piece decides to go over and play Russian roulette instead of chess. Is it possible to re-attract that circumstance or person back into your chessboard?
A version of them, perhaps, yes. Not necessarily the original. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Well, again, the idea, when you talk about law of attraction, understand it this way, because some of you have a little bit of a misunderstanding about the law of attraction and how it actually functions. It isn't wrong that you need to be of a certain frequency to attract things that are relevant to that frequency or representative of it. But the idea is you think you have to actually learn to do that, and you don't. Let me put it to you this way. Here's the real core of what you call the law of attraction. Each and every one of you has a signature frequency that is uniquely you. That frequency is your true self. That true self, that true frequency is radiating from you like a beacon all the time, without fail, without stop. That frequency of your true self is constantly attracting, constantly, without fail, constantly attracting what is representative of a manifestation reflective of that true self vibration. It's not that you have to learn to attract. It's that you have to learn to stop keeping things away that are trying to get to you based on the frequency of your core being. Does that make sense? You see the difference?
I believe so. It's more about allowing.
It is totally about allowing. And the things that are not you are utterly trying to get away from you as hard as they can. If the things that are not representative of your true vibration stick around, it's because you're holding on to them. So it's about letting go and letting in, not really about having to learn how to attract. You already know how to attract. It's in your nature to attract. But the idea is that you have to understand that you just need to let go of the things that are not representative of the vibration you prefer in order to simply let the things that are attempting to get to you that are come in. Yeah. If, thus then, there is something in your life that is truly representative of that frequency, and you have let go of all the things keeping it at bay, it will come in. If it does not come in after you have done that, you don't need it.
Absolutely.
Make sense?
Yes.
And when you understand that the things that don't come to you are the things you don't need, then you will make room for the things that are you to come to you. And you won't care what they are, because if they are the things that are representative of your vibration, when they come to you, they will feel correct. So it doesn't matter in what form they come. Make sense?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Absolutely.
All right.
There's only one other question. And
all right.
There was a gentleman earlier, and he kind of hit on it a little bit. And he spoke of your higher self.
Yes.
And I've gotten a lot of signs about a certain individual.
Yes.
And also I've gotten signs about a certain career. Is that my higher self? Is that my spirit guide?
Maybe, but again, do you remember the formula?
I think so.
If you act to the best of your ability, to the best of your ability. Sometimes you can't act beyond a certain point. You don't have the ability to. But if you act to the best of your ability on the things that contain the highest excitement, with no insistence on what the outcome ought to be, which means you're not result-oriented, then you will be led to where you actually need to be, and the things that manifest will be representative of the vibrational state of your preferred reality. Even though you may think they don't look like what you thought they would look like, you have to know that they are more representative than what you assumed would be there. If you don't have that understanding, you're not following the formula.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So, it's not about, again, like we said, oh, that didn't happen, then something must be wrong. I must be stopping myself. I must be blocking myself. The idea, again, is, as we have said with visualization, the key to visualization is, by all means, create a scenario that represents your ideal reality. Let it make you very excited. Get really excited about it, and then dump the image completely. Let go of the image. The only thing that's important in visualization is the state of being of excitement that the image generated within you. Let the image go completely, and then let your higher mind bring you what actually is representative of the path of that vibrational state, with absolutely no assumption that it has to look a certain way, because the physical mind is not designed to know how something should look. It only is designed to know what things look like that have already manifested. The physical mind is simply experience-oriented. It is not precognitive. Only the higher mind is. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
So, when you allow the higher mind to do its job and work in concert with the physical mind can relax. The physical mind can simply get into the right state, the higher mind do your stuff, and then let the manifestation, the next manifestation that occurs, be what you need. And approach it with the idea of understanding, all right, what can I get out of this? How can I act on this in the most exciting way I can? Or is it simply a recognition that this is not my preference? And what is my preference, and how can I act on that? With no assumption for what the outcome should be. When you do that, your life will become a continuing ecstatic explosion of synchronicity, and you will see that it works effortlessly, and you don't have to make it work. You just have to allow it to work. Does that make sense?
Yes, so in fact, sometimes when you see the signs, it's actually synchronicity from your higher mind.
Yes.
Okay.
Often the idea of those kinds of synchronicities, as we said, are messages from the higher mind.
That you're on the right path.
Yes.
Okay.
Even if it doesn't look like you thought it would.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Got it. Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I wanted to piggyback on that, get a little information on the law of attraction.
Yes.
Specifically, what are some daily practices that we can do to allow and to let go and to do what you said before about...
What works for you? You understand our concept of permission slips?
Yes, I think I have a disconnect sometimes on what I feel.
How so?
Versus what my physical mind is trying to control.
But you still understand the idea of permission slips, yes?
I understand it. But,
are you sure?
Well, there's a disconnect.
What's the definition of a permission slip?
Allowing yourself to do something?
No. All tools, all techniques, all rituals, and all objects are permission slips that are in alignment with your belief system. That's why you're attracted to a particular tool, ritual, technique, or object, because you believe that that particular tool, technique, ritual, or object will allow you to give yourself permission to be more of who you are.
Okay.
The technique, tool, ritual, or object isn't doing anything. You are. But you're saying that those particular permission slips are acting as triggers for you to let it be all right to be more of who you are. So it doesn't matter what the technique is. It doesn't matter what the tool is. It doesn't matter what the ritual is. It doesn't matter what the object is, except that you are attracted to use it. That's the only thing that makes a difference, that it works for you. It may not work for anyone else. But if it works for you, if you're attracted to use a particular technique or tool or ritual or object, then you're attracted to it for a reason, because that's where your belief system is aligned, and that will be the thing that will allow you to give yourself permission to be more of who you are. So when any of you ask for a particular technique, rely on your imagination, rely on what you're attracted to. If you're attracted to meditation, do it. If you're not, don't. If you're attracted to being immersed in water, do it. If you're not, don't. If you're attracted to use tarot cards, do it. If you're not, don't. It's all the same to the universe. Make sense?
Yes.
Does this answer your question?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yes. Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
We have a question from our Ustream listeners.
All right.
And this question is it possible to shift to a parallel reality and become a hybrid human now?
That is a contradictory sentence. Listen to it. Is it possible to shift to a parallel reality and become a hybrid human now? The idea is that you're saying possible to shift to, which implies it is not now, and yet asking, is it possible to do this now? Obviously, when a shift is made of that nature, then the being will experience that shift as it's now, but it's not the same now as this now, where that shift hasn't happened yet, according to the way the question has been stated. So it's a contradictory statement.
Right. But just taking along the idea of what he's asking, he or she.
The idea, therefore, is to understand that if everything does exist now in its own version of now, then many, many beings have alternate incarnations as hybrid beings in the now in which the hybrid being exists. So in that sense, yes, it's not only possible, it's highly probable that many beings on your planet have alternate realities in other nows as hybrid beings. But it won't be the same now as the being who's asking the question lives in.
So a lot of the people now that are learning how to follow their excitement, how to be of a higher vibrational level, dealing with their core issues that are allowing them to then transform into a higher vibrational state.
Yes.
Will they be similar to the hybridized human version that you're speaking of in the future?
More and more. Now remember, of course, that in a sense, really, you're all already hybridized. In order to be human, you had to be hybridized.
Right. So what would the difference be, in a sense, between the hybrid humans that you're describing, the sixth group, as opposed to the humans that are here that are accelerating and maybe raising their frequency to quite high levels?
The hybrid race ultimately will appear more like us, physically.
Why will they look more like you?
Because vibration begets a certain reflection.
So they'll be really cute?
Indubitably. It is simply that certain physiological alterations will go along with certain vibrational ones. And certain vibrational alterations that are in any way, shape, or form reflective or similar to our vibration will carry with them certain physiological expressions or reflections or traits. So you may not be identical to us, but you will be more like us as a species.
So basically what you're saying is as your DNA shifts and you become more and more hybridized, which involves more silica in the body system, then the physical features actually start to shift.
Yes.
But are these individuals then born looking like this, or they literally would change during their lifetime?
Both can happen, and later on in your time frame down the line, more and more will simply shift, but there will also be many, many more just born that way.
Utterly fascinating.
Yes.
Anything else you'd like to say about the hybridized humans? The versions today and the versions that will, linearly speaking, be in the future?
Access your full potential, and you will accelerate your experience in all levels, in all directions, in all ways that are relevant for your life now. For only your life now is relevant to you. That which you may become is relevant to who you will become. Be you now, and that will give you the greatest opportunity to become the other that you wish to be. For if you invalidate anything you are now, anywhere you are now, any when you are now, you invalidate the stepping stone that will take you to the other place. Be where you are now as fully as you possibly can be. And in that validation will all things come to you, because you will be living in the present where all things exist.
And you can experience that high level of joy and excitement that the hybridized humans will experience on an ongoing basis.
That is your birthright now. You do not have to be any more hybridized than you are right now to experience utter joy all the time. Experiencing utter joy, choosing to experience the joy all the time, will accelerate the process of hybridization within your DNA structures to be more reflective of that joy, until such time as you will know nothing else as an experience. You will know that there are choices that can be made that would be different than the experience of joy. You simply won't choose them because you will have no reason to anymore, no need. And you can do that now if you wish. It is completely in your hands, always has been, but now you are waking up to the fact of that truth. So exercise the choices that you prefer now. It is completely up to you.
and trust the way your life unfolds as being the appropriate manner in which it serves the theme you chose to explore and the way you chose to be of service to all connected to you in your life. It is truly as simple as that, but it is also, when you allow it to be that simple, absolutely magnificent. I guarantee it. Is it time for you to take your break to set up your holotope?
Not yet. So actually, we need to draw some more names.
3, and that will suffice.
Thank you. Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Contact is my highest excitement.
Well, you're having contact right now.
Yes, I am. And along with that, a couple of months ago, before I went to sleep.
Speak up, speak up.
A couple of months ago, before I went to sleep, I asked for greater recognition, greater feeling, bringing back the feeling of contact with my higher mind.
All right, and?
And I woke up in the middle of that night feeling very full, very like I had internal pressure.
Yes.
I was vibrating, humming.
All right.
And that was very exciting.
Yes.
And within the next night or two, I was having a dream, seeing UFO lights in the sky.
Yes.
And I woke up, or I feel like I woke up, maybe woke up into another level of consciousness.
Yes.
And there was a gray
Yes.
extraterrestrial in my bedroom. And I felt no fear.
All right, congratulations.
That's why I feel like I was connected with my higher mind.
Yes.
And
that's why we talked earlier about the idea that when you put yourself in the state that you prefer, all such interactions will be seen in a completely different light.
Yes. And I was genuinely happy to see him there.
Thank you.
And as he approached, I sat up and I put my hand on his chest and felt very real. And so I'm just wondering, on what level was that? Was that
the template level reality that's on your chart?
Okay. Because
many of these interactions take place on the template level of that reality because it's neither your reality nor theirs. It's a neutral meeting ground, a blueprint ground in which different kinds of scenarios can be constructed for interactions of that nature that both sides will accept as, in a sense, real. Because it's the borderline between your two countries, if you will.
And he was another aspect of my oversoul?
Yes.
Okay.
Most encounters of that type are actually other versions of yourselves. That's why they know that an agreement has been made.
That was a wonderful experience.
Thank you for co-creating it in that manner and in that light.
Thank you.
Pleasant dream.
Thank you. Within the next few nights,
yes,
I had that same kind of blended feeling again.
Yes.
Only this time it came with great emotion.
Yes.
I was very joyful, very excited.
Yes.
And
what do you wish to do with that in your life? The idea is that's your state of being. Therefore, act from that state of being in everything that you do, and you will be most highly aligned with who you actually are.
Yes. And
yes?
At that time, I then had another experience. I had a physical sensation that I have had many times when I was younger, and I didn't know what it was. And I had the same sensation again, and
define.
I felt it was just a strong feeling from my neck up through my throat.
Yes.
And as you know, as humans, from our neck to our throat, there's a 90-degree turn, basically.
Yes.
But this felt much more straight. And
the idea of the back of the neck, the base of the skull, is what might be classically or euphemistically referred to in your language as the channeling chakra.
Okay.
Thus, when that starts to open, it is an indication that you are now preparing to work with higher levels of your being.
Okay.
Yes.
And at that moment, I brought my physical focus down towards my chest. I didn't have arms, but I had 2 light gray flippers, making me feel like I was a dolphin.
Yes.
So
many of you are cross-connected to dolphin incarnations and other amphibious beings of that nature.
So that was another.
As you expand your consciousness, you will become more aware of some of the other connections that you have that are relevant to the energy information you require to live this life.
Yes.
So you become aware of the greater being that you are in more of its expressions.
Thank you. So yes, this is all very exciting and
Yes, we think so.
and
Does this help you?
Yes, that will just lead to more and more contact.
Yes.
Okay.
But mostly, and firstly, more contact with yourself.
Yes. I do have one question from a very dear friend of mine. She's an artist in Australia.
Yes.
And she feels a very strong connection, as do I, to Orion.
Yes.
And she feels a strong connection, a home connection to Bellatrix specifically.
Yes.
And so she wanted to know about any planets or beings that are there.
There are some around that star, but the idea really for the focus would be to look to Mintaka.
Okay.
And that is the information we are allowed to give for the beginning of another journey.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
Bashar, I have felt for many, many years, most of this lifetime, we are actually missing a language. I don't know the actual terminology of this language. I call it heart speak. It is not telepathic from the mind.
No, it is a vibration literally from the heart.
Yes.
And from the solar plexus area.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel I speak this language regularly. I use it in the occupation I have.
Yes, this was used quite commonly back in what you would call Lemurian times.
Thank you. How do I...
You're already doing it.
Okay, is there a way to translate it?
Do you remember what we said about the idea of permission slips?
Yes.
Using it and opening up to the idea of whatever way you need to understand it, you will allow the synchronicity in your life to bring you whatever information that you need. But the idea is that it doesn't always necessarily have to be translated into a language you understand at another level, because sometimes understanding it or interpreting it another way would actually, in some senses, obfuscate your ability to use it in its more natural form. Because it doesn't require an interpretation to be experienced in the way that it needs to be experienced by those who need to receive it.
Thank you.
You understand?
Yes.
Just
completely.
speak from your heart, that will do. If you need any translation, you'll have it. But as we said before, if it doesn't come, you may not need it.
Okay.
Does this help?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Anything else?
One more question. There are some of us who, with the changes on the earth right now and the environmental impacts of what's going on,
Yes.
some of us feel like we're starting to sort of lose our memories a little bit. We've got ringing in the ears.
This is one of the symptoms of the transition. Because understand, we have no memory at all.
It is mindlessness.
The idea is simply that we know what we need to know when we need to know it. Okay. Because you always have access to information, always. And so the idea is not necessarily to remember in the classical sense, but to simply allow yourself to know what you need to know when you need to know it. And so the first symptom of this transition in your species might be that you lose your memories in the way that you typically often experience them. But that's all right. Just relax. You'll be fine. The most important thing is to know who you are. And when you know who you are, everything you need to know will come to you. Exactly when it needs to come to you. Not a second later than it needs to come to you, but also not a second sooner than it needs to come to you. Trust the timing. Yes?
Thank you, Bashar.
Does this help you?
Absolutely.
Do you believe that you can live that way?
Absolutely.
Totally in the moment that way?
Right now.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our hearts go out to you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
About 10 years ago, I had a near-death experience.
How exciting.
Ever since then, I've been having some contacts.
Yes.
I'm not really sure what they are, but it comes through with a lot of information.
Yes.
Overwhelming at times. I write them down.
All right.
Even visual.
Yes.
I can kind of explain to you what I see.
If you wish.
It's like red and orange with a structure in the middle, kind of like a face, kind of like water look, and it changes from face to face to face, almost like something is speaking through the water.
Yes.
To
All
me.
right. There is a mix of Syrian and Arcturian connection in this, but there's something else as well that we're not allowed to talk about, but go on.
Okay. One of the things,
I'm sorry. The reason we're not allowed to talk about it is because it would be an interruption in his process.
My wife at times has seen this process take place.
Yes.
Where I kind of go to like a channeling form.
Yes.
I'm saying stuff.
Yes.
Some of it's just in a relaxed state. So, I mean, some of it's at night early in the morning when I wake up. Some is in a meditation state.
Yes.
I have no control over it.
That's
as of
all right.
right
You
now.
do. But the idea is that it has to be allowed to function in its natural way. You'll get used to it, and you'll know how to direct it. It's not so much control as it is the idea of direction.
Okay.
You'll get used to the flow. It takes a little time, we understand, in your reality, but you'll get used to it. But you see, these are the kinds of things that happen when you die and come back. So if you're going to choose to have near-death experiences, you're not going to come back the same person.
Right.
And so this is part and parcel of what you agreed to. You'll get used to it, you'll learn, it'll amplify, it'll magnify, it'll become first nature to you eventually, and you'll know exactly how to apply it.
Yeah, one of the things is I do remember some sort of agreement or contract.
Yes.
I know I seen that part.
All right.
I wanted to see if you could give me any tips of how to harness it or be able to.
Is there a particular form in which you express the idea of the flow of this energy?
It's blissful, very pleasant, familiar.
No, what I mean is it being expressed vocally or in automatic writing or some form of channeling in that way, or is it being expressed artistically or some other way?
No, it comes through as like a channel, a voice into my head.
All right,
and then I basically
repeat
it. Yes.
All right.
And I do write it down.
All right. So you're in the idea of the stages of learning how to form a relationship with this entity, this consciousness, this level of being, and you are going to get used to the idea of how to apply it, and the synchronicities in your life will give you more opportunities to do so. In some senses, not in any way, shape, or form to make light of what you're going through, but this is a relatively typical path for someone opening up to channel in certain ways.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Your life is going to get even more exciting.
Right.
In very, I'll put it in your language, strange and unusual ways. But that's all right, because they will not be so strange or unusual in time.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
So you're bringing through an energy to plant a seed that will grow, and when it grows, it will blossom and flower in a very beautiful way, and those who see the blossoming and the flowering will remark and comment on the idea of the color and the beauty of the flower that you have grown, and it will be appropriate in its appropriate time for those that need to receive it. Yes?
Yes.
All right. So you are, in a sense, a different kind of gardener.
Okay.
Does this help?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sir.
Sorry, I'm from Texas.
So
That's usually what we
formal.
say.
No need to apologize, sir.
Okay, I have one more question.
Yes.
One of the things that I was shown that's been something that's just very important to me, I'm very drawn to,
Yes.
is a shell structure. It's a very white, pearl-looking, beautiful shell. And
Can you define the shape?
Like a shell that you would find on a beach.
Is it a spiral or something else?
Spiral.
It is a spiral.
Yes.
All right, then this is what we were talking about before. Look to and examine the idea of the Fibonacci sequence and spirals. Look to the golden proportions. Look to the phi ratios. Look to all those underpinnings of the geometry of creation and existence, and it will open you up in a very specific way. You will learn to read the signs. You will learn to read the book.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Does this help you?
Yes, it helps me very much.
All right, one moment. Has your diet changed lately?
Yes.
Urges for what?
I'm staying away from red meats and stuff like that.
Does that feel more natural to you now?
Yeah, it keeps me out of the hospital.
All right. Allow yourself to continue to refine. You don't have to force, but allow yourself to continue to refine the refinement of your diet in that way. And the idea of a detoxification of your body will aid and assist in allowing you to become a more receptive antenna to the energies that you are working with. I didn't say that. That's from them.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So clean out, become more receptive, be easy on yourself, be kind to yourself. You will have more fun.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, you may take a short break, and we will resume with the meditation for your holotope experience. We thank you.
We know that many of you get it when we say, follow your passion, act on your passion. And when you have heard others say, follow your bliss, act on your excitement, act on your passion, behave as if. We know that you believe you get that much. But at the same time, in many of the discussions we have had with many of you, we also hear the idea of putting your trust in negativity, of doubting yourself, and saying, well, I am doing my best to follow my passion, but it doesn't seem to be working. Well, I'm doing my best to do this, I'm doing my best to do that. Here's the key that we find, in a sense, is lacking from what the energy is that you're attempting to apply when attempting to follow your passion. It's all well and good to recognize that following your passion, when you recognize it, is the thing to do. But what you may not also understand the importance of is that you also, here it is, are you paying attention? The secret to the secret to the secret. Ears open wide. This is going to sound very simple, but it's very important. When you are acting on your passion, you must also be passionate about being passionate, which many of you are not. When you search for your passion, and then you find something, or you recognize the idea of looking around at any given moment for what excites you the most at that moment, and many of you make an attempt, many of you make an application, many of you do an act, there will still be, according to many of your belief systems, those moments when you go back into, when you choose to go back into many of your negative beliefs, many of your negative feelings, many of your negative thoughts, the things you don't prefer. And this is where it is most crucial to remember that you must also be passionate about being passionate in order to really allow your passion to work. And what this simply means is you don't ever give up. You, at any given moment that you feel yourself waning, look around and use your imagination and create for yourself in that moment an action and a behavior that will take you back into your passion. You must, in that sense, exhibit passion in order to create passion. This is how you bootstrap yourself up the vibrational ladder. To put it in another way, you have heard us say, you have heard them say, when you have a vision, when you have a dream, when you have a picture, when you have a visualization, act it out as best as you can. Do all the things as best as you can to allow yourself to create the frequency of the reality you prefer, even if it isn't literally, physically manifesting yet. This is the willingness to be passionate about being passionate, instead of choosing to feel the idea of the inertia tugging at you from the beliefs you don't prefer. The willingness to act differently regardless of the recognition that you have those beliefs. For example, when you see someone who is truly driven, truly passionate about something, about some career, about some reality, about some idea, you literally see that they are hungry for this manifestation. They are driven. They are obsessed with it. The idea is to become obsessed about being obsessed. To do the things themselves for their own sake of creating passion that will then allow you the opportunity to take that and create the vibrational state necessary to attract what you prefer. So, as we said, here's an example. You have now at your disposal, as we said, this tool called The Secret, and many other tools. Doesn't have to be this, but it's readily available to you all in a very convenient form, so it can be this. But as an example, if you are sitting around looking at your life, looking to be passionate about something, and wondering how to be passionate about being passionate, the idea again to recognize is that when you see people who truly are passionate, they are driven at every level, at every stage. So, if it's really that important to you, if it's really that important to you, bless you. If it's really that important to you to create the reality you say you prefer, you will do what it takes. You will do anything. You will be hungry to create a vibration of passion within you all the time. Which means that if you have any kind of permission slip or tool available to you, you will use it as often as you can. You will inundate yourself with it until there can be no other thought, until there is no other choice. To put it in pragmatic terms, if you find yourself one day feeling that your energy is waning, listen, put on your headphones and listen to The Secret again. If the next day you find your energy is waning, put on your headphones and listen to it again. And again, 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 until you get it. Until it sinks in, until it becomes second nature, until it becomes your first thought, until you don't think any other way. Inundate, immerse yourself in all the things that are of that nature, to the exclusion of all other techniques, all other offerings, all other tools. If you're really passionate about something, and passionate about being that passionate, you will do what it takes. You will allow yourself to be completely submerged and obsessed with the very idea of creating the state itself that is representative of the reality you prefer. Now, you don't have to do this. It's up to you. But what we are saying here now, and what we will be repeating throughout this particular transmission, is the recognition that whatever stage, whatever level of frequency, whatever level of commitment, whatever level of drive, whatever level of hunger you decide you choose to have for being passionate is completely what will determine the level of reflection you get, the level of effect you get. So if you say to yourself, I don't have to listen to that again, I already know it, still not working for me, I'm still not happy, still not getting the reality vibration, still not creating the state of being I want, but I don't have to listen to that again, then that's the state you will remain in. When you remember a time when you became passionate about something, anything, you couldn't get enough of it. Every day, every waking thought, you ate it, you drank it, you breathed it in. You looked for anything that had to do with that thing, to learn more, to feel more, to absorb more, to immerse yourself, surround yourself more with that idea. The idea is that in and of itself, that activity in and of itself of immersing yourself in a passionate state is paramount, is very important to the generation of attracting all the things that are then representative of that passion. So if you're not going to be passionate about being passionate, you are going to remove for yourself a very strong stepping stone, a very strong connective link to attracting the things themselves that are representative of your passion. Does this make sense to you? All right. Now we understand, and we know you understand, that even with this knowledge, there will still be portions of your mind, portions of your physical mind going, oh no, that's just too much. So be it. That's your choice.